No stranger to running the Doom. I wouldn't be surprised if he ran mid, and that was a Corey Marana. Most likely will be. And the Timbersaw going to be the first ban as well from Zephyr. No surprise there. They generally don't like to play against that hero, if possible. And Chen is going to be the second pickup for Team Bird Gang. Maybe give them some early tower pushing power, some early ganking power as well. Curious to see how effectively Bird Gang will use the Chen, and they decide to ban out the Enchantress, which I guess can kind of work against that Chen if you're not prepared. There's Sexy Bambo, played on the Nature's Prophet last match. Got caught out of position a few times, but other than that, a pretty solid game on his end. And Sky, one of the support players from Bird Gang, could end up on that Chen. And the third ban out from Zephyr going to be the Luna. A very popular pick and ban in the current meta. Very strong early game, mid game presence, and has a lot of firepower late game once you really get her farmed up. I do imagine this will be a position 1 Marana as the hard carry in a tri-lane. But you can put her in the off lane and you can run Marana as support. But generally, what I've seen from Zephyr, they do like to run Marana as that carry. Looks like Blitz is not paying too much attention to the camera that's on him there. He had a pretty fantastic game on the puck. A lot of good initiation from him. And the third pickup from Zephyr, Crystal Maiden. Looking like it's going to be a Blitz hero, not Blitz, a Purge hero. Could go to Eosin as well, though. I believe I've seen Purge on that Crystal Maiden a lot more than Eosin, especially since they've really been picking that Sand King up for him a lot recently. Maybe we could see a Visage, Eosin, Crystal Maiden, and Purge to Visage. And the green sign says, Master of Last Hits, please pick Sniper. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing a Sniper anytime soon, though. This Purge looking pretty darn confident from the look of things, just discussing a few things with his teammates. And he was on the Shadow Demon last game. did a pretty good job. A lot of very clutch disruptions to secure kills and save his teammates. I really am liking Shadow Demon in the current patch and meta. And the third pickup from Birdgang going to be Rubik. And there are a lot of powerful spells from Zephyr's repertoire to be stolen. And a Sand King, let's just go ahead and make that Rubik even more useful. And we'll see if Birdgang can properly utilize the Rubik before he dies. As he is a squishy hero, and Zephyr do have a good amount of initiation. It's Tenbird, Eosin. He was last seen on the Nyx Assassin, which we did see Bambo play a lot. And fourth pick for Birdgang, it is the Bat Rider. So it looks like they're going to have a lot of initiation in their bag as well. I would say this is somewhat of a greedy lineup from Birdgang. They're not going to have too much lane presence. I mean, Bat Rider, I suppose, will end up in the off lane. Chen's got to be in that jungle. If they wanted to, they could take both jungles, but I don't see that realistically happening. Corey on the Life Stealer last game. Pretty standard Corey game, just played a Life Stealer and won. I don't think he's lost a single game with the Life Stealer. And that sign says MP fighting. And the Chen sign, I believe, it says all cured, but I'm pretty sure it means like all healed, like the Chen says, at least in the English client when he uses his ultimate. There's the prolific Febby, originally from FXO back when they existed. Moved on to Birdgang afterward. And Birdgang's roster has at least seemed pretty stable as far as MOBA rosters go. They haven't had any changes for a while. And interesting, the last pick for Zephyr is the Darkseer, which will be taking up that offlane role. He's really fallen out of favor as of late, but still a very strong hero, still someone really annoying to deal with. I mean, there's not an incredible amount of right-click on Birdgang, so the Wall of Replica, it's always a good ability to use, but it's not going to have as a great of effect on their team as, say, a team that used like a Life Stealer or another high physical DPS hero. And as well, the last round of bans look to be Bristleback, and the last pick, which Febby is going to go on, will be the Gyrocopter. So the picks and bans are set. This is going to be match 2 of the Korean DOTA2 League between Birdgang and Zephyr. My name is Whiplash. I'm providing the English commentary on site for the KDL. Let's go into the match. And in we go. Game 2 of the Korean DOTA2 League. This is Tier 1, the second match between Birdgang and Zephyr. Currently, Zephyr lead 1-0 in this best of 3.
30초 후 전투가 시작됩니다.
And we have Sexy Bambo playing as the offlane Darkseer with Purge and Eosin on the Crystal Maiden and Sand King respectively, looking for a potential early first blood in the offlane. Lots of pings happening all across the map. JYU is going to be on that Bat Rider, most likely in the offlane. Already a few wards placed on both ends.
전투가 시작됩니다.
Looks like Purge, Blitz is going to be playing as the Doom in the mid lane. We have seen him in that position a few times before. They do like to favor it. And of course, Corey is going to be on the Mirana in the I guess the safe lane for the Radiant, suicide lane for the Dire. Tenbird as the Rubik. Once again, Febby on the Gyrocopter, doing his best to stall those creeps, block them for a little bit. Oh, Sexy Bamboo, he is quite aggressive here. If this doesn't telegraph a gank, I don't know what does. Surprised that he picked up his Ion Shell as well. I guess the DPS from it will be better than a Surge for grabbing a kill if they get the stuns off. Just, you know, how long are these supports going to stand by? That's the question. Bird Gang knows something's up, and they're playing it just a little bit safe to make sure they don't give up an easy first blood. And this also gives Bamboo a little bit of last hit ability early on in the game. The supports, they're staying in the offlane for now, but I would expect them to rotate sometime soon to bottom. I guess Mirana doesn't really need too much help in the bot lane against a Bat Rider, so they could theoretically stay in the top lane and just, you know, make this a really terrible lane for Febby, who's gonna need all the farm he can get. Uh-oh. Tenbird out of position. That's gonna be an easy first blood. As Bamboo secures the kill. And this is not gonna be a fun lane for Febby. Gyrocopter can do a lot of flash farm, catch up in the later stages, but that just means it's that much longer for him to really come online and become useful. Bat Rider's got a good amount of denies so far. He's 2 and 7 for last hits and denies. I'm sure though Corey is doing just fine in his lane. He's generally a really solid farmer and last hitter. Blitz slightly behind MP in the mid lane, but there's that range advantage. Uh-oh. Yosin a little bit out of position. He's low on health. Can he survive? Whoa, nice juking. But it's not enough. He ends up getting picked off. Sexy Bamboo. He decides to hightail it out of there. Will he be able to survive? Blitz is added into the action as well. Starting to eject JYU. Bamboo, he's healed up a little bit, but he's still not in prime condition. He needs that hightail it out of there. Blitz using that haste rune on Purge. He is not... He is going to be lucky. That's actually a little bit surprising. I feel like Bird Gang, they could have certainly chased down Purge. It was pretty obvious where he was going. But surprisingly, it was essentially a stalemate after the engagement. Nice ward control as well from Bird Gang in the top. They have some sentry wards, some normal wards, just making sure the lane is nice and tight for them. As good as it can be, I suppose. And we are seeing these the support duo of Yosin and Purge just continuing to kind of roam around the map. They're not too far from the mid lane. Invoker could be next on the hit list, but not if he gets that invisibility. He's going to be pretty darn safe. Huh? Well, he's not going to get it. Oh, this is also a QW Invoker, Quaz Wex, which means he's going to focus on EMP and Tornado. For a long time, this was the standard for Invoker play, but eventually, after they nerfed some of the Tornado damage and a little bit of the Invoker base damage, he was kind of out of the scene for a while. Then he came back in, kind of using Quaz and Exort, and people are like, "Oh wait, Tornado is good," and EMP got buffed, and they decided to switch it back to the QW style, which is becoming a lot more predominant lately. But Invoker, a hero with pretty much the biggest tool set to his disposal in Dota. He is a hero that's great for the competitive scene. As far as last hits go, we do have an Invoker in the lead. Also, strangely followed by the Darkseer, is doing quite well in his lane. And Mirana doing all right herself. The Batrider, though, with a lot of denies, certainly preventing that from being what it could be. Okay, in comes the smoke blitz. Doesn't look like he's entirely too prepared. Look at, he was just frozen. Couldn't do anything. Eats up the creep before he dies. But that's still a kill. And Birdgain, they've managed to tie it up 2-2. So despite not an amazing start, Birdgain, they're not going to let this be a repeat of last game, at least for the time being. There's that all-healed Chen poster once again. And Chen picking up another smoke. Wouldn't be surprised if they wanted to try to get a second gank on the Doom. They could even go top towards Sexy Bambo. He is overextended by quite a lot. Now with the lift, a lot of the damage is going to connect. Bambo, can he escape? He has 15 seconds left on his Town Portal cooldown. He needs to juke like a master if he wants to survive. It's not going to happen, though. And Zephyr overextending a little bit too much. Corey does manage to pick up a hand of minus on the Mirana, just under the 7-minute mark. Is smoked and prepared to do a gank with Purge. Moving around. This would be a good time to kind of turn the tables. Invoker has been having a pretty good time in the mid lane, up to 40. The last hits already. All right, Yosin moving in. Can he get the stun off? Yes, he manages to get it. And then a Doom follow-up. MP down he goes. Rotation. Oh, wait. That was a deny. Tenbird got the deny. That was supposed to be a guaranteed kill for Zephyr, and they don't even get the gold or the experience. Very nice rotation. And another death, this time on Darkseer in the top lane. This is not the same Zephyr that we're seeing from before. They did, I think, manage to get another kill. It's 3-4. Never mind. It's still just an advantage for Birdgain for the time being. Well, we're certainly seeing a much better laning phase out of Birdgain for Game 2. Doom deciding to just work on these creeps for the time being. Doesn't have much mana, wouldn't be able to really escape a gank. JYU probably going to pick up this rune for the time being. And he should have his Blink Dagger pretty soon as well. Corey has managed to get up to 21 denies though, and 51 last hits, so he is, in Corey's style, farming incredibly efficient. As the stage moves on, it just gets harder and harder for Batrider to find these last hits. There's a lot of action happening in the top lane. Looks like Batrider's decided to go ahead and port there. Sexy Bambo gets picked off by Bevy. Purge follows up. Partly in thanks to the rotation from the Batrider. And Zephyr, they're just getting picked off left and right. Things are not really looking too great for them. Looks like Birdgain, they could certainly push this tower if they want. They have a mini skeleton army at their disposal, thanks to the Chen converting some of those jungle troll creeps. And as they summon more skeletons, at this point they're pretty much creeps of their own. Forcing the fortification out on the tower. They're trying to delay. Can they save the tower though? That's the real question. Invoker is coming around from the back. A few TPs in from Team Zephyr. Able to get a few stuns off. Some damage happens. Chen throws down the heal. Unfortunately, Sexy Bambo, he ends up dying. EMP is going to hit. Blitz out of mana. Purge out of mana. Both pretty much useless now as far as the team fights go. And that was pretty darn good execution for Birdgame. They secure the tower, and they are starting to secure a very good lead in this game. Quite the turnaround from match 1. Let's not forget though, when it comes to the late game, Zephyr, they do have the Doom, they have the Mirana. A Darkseer ultimate becomes a lot better against the Gyrocopter. That is a hero that can really get a lot of right-click damage as the game progresses. But Birdgame, they can pick off people left and right with the Bat Rider. I would still want to give Zephyr a bit of a late game advantage. It's just going to come down to execution. How well can these teams hold themselves in the team fight? It's like Blitz is once again going to be drained of all mana. That's got to be annoying. Doombringer has a really low base mana amount. At 8 levels and he's only got 364. Counteracted by his insane strength gain. But if you thought his intelligence is pitiful, then you don't want to look at his agility stat. It looks like Bambo's been regulated to the jungle for the time being. Bat Rider picks up his Blink Dagger. That's going to be huge for Birdgame. Their initiation has just increased tenfold. Especially now that Blink Dagger doesn't cost any mana. Just use it all day, every day. Innocent, unfortunately, doesn't have much to his name beyond some boots. Doesn't even have mana boots. Looks like he still wants to move into that fast Blink Dagger. And there is a smoke coming in from Birdgang. They should be able to get the double damage if they want. They aren't going to risk it. They don't want to kind of tip off Zephyr. And uh-oh, Sexy Bambo is in a bad position. Same with the Blitz, but they managed to escape in the nick of time. And Birdgang have revealed their positioning, but they're still in a good spot if they want to go for a team fight or a tower. But Bebby, he gets frozen. In comes the wall as well. Blitz, he's dragged. He's trying to do some DPS. Down goes Tenbird. And JYU is one hit away from dying. Finished off by Blitz. Yosin comes in with a stun. That's a 3 for 0. The Team Zephyr, they're right back into it. That's exactly what they needed. A good team fight. Take out Birdgang. An Invoker is going to stop this push dead in its tracks, and they actually managed to get another kill on Sexy Bambo as well. So no tower for Zephyr. They just get a 3-for-1 trade, which is still something that they desperately needed. Let's not forget that double damage room still just waiting to be picked up in the bottom part of the river. So Blitz has also picked up his Hand of Midas. Him and Koi are going to be absolute monsters late game. Really the people to keep an eye out on. And really the only person that can carry anywhere near as well as Gyrocopter on Birdgang is going to be the Invoker. But once, you know, the BKBs come around, once that late game hits, he's going to be a little bit less effective once those BKBs are activated. Make no mistake, the Invoker's still a great late game hero. In comes Yosin with his ultimate. Do they have enough damage to finish off Bebby? Just barely enough. Sexy Bambo a little bit low on health. Burge is going to end up falling. MP may be next. He's trying to run and escape. Can he ghost walk out in time? Not even going to be needed. He just zips away. While the Bat Rider is able to blink and save himself for now. MP is saving up. This Invoker really helping out a lot as far as preventing these towers from dying. Time being, oh, look at that ballsy move from Yosin. But he may pay for it with his life, and indeed he does. I guess that was a little bit too ballsy. Perch just doing a little bit of creep stacking in the Radiant end. And Bird Gang, this tower is low, ripe for the picking. They will most likely get that. Hold on a second, fortification, nice. Arrow finishes off Sky. That's going to be no hand of God, but counter initiation from the gyrocopter picks off Doom. Corey could end up being next. They're invisible. The tower is down. Febby, I believe, gets the kill. And Sexy Bambo nowhere to be seen. At least Eosin has managed to pick up his Blink Dagger. Also a smoke in his inventory. Going to allow Zephyr to do a little bit of initiation when needed. And Darkseer also getting a Blink Dagger. I guess Zephyr's plan is, well, if you're going to initiate with Bat Rider, we're going to initiate with 2 heroes, not 1. So the score is currently 9-11. Zephyr against Bird Gang. Bird Gang currently leading the charge ever so slightly. Some good team fights on both ends. Early game, Zephyr has been getting a little, they overextended a little bit. They kind of pulled it back, and they've been a little bit, more reserved. But I think this is a good time to move in for a smoke gank. Rubik's managed to steal the ultimate from Mirana, providing his entire team with invisibility for a short amount of time. They could move in towards the Bat Rider, or just go ahead and take out that tower. And the gold grab's looking pretty darn even between both teams. Zephyr in a very slight lead. Oh, do they want a Roshan? Is that what they want to do? No, they're going to go ahead and initiate on Blitz, and Sexy Bambo. This is not the position for Zephyr to be, and Eosin's going to go ahead and blink in there, do a little bit of burrow strike damage. Sexy Bambo falls. That means we're going to be seeing no Wall of Replica, and this could be a Roshan for Bird Gang. So the theme for game 2 is Bird Gang getting a lot of easy ganks on overextending Zephyr players. There's a large creep stack that we've seen this Bat Rider work on to the right of Roshan. It's gonna be a lot of extra gold for Bevy. They're also gonna have the Aegis to help out too. And no contestation from Zephyr. They're just giving up the Roshan. Well, for the time being, Bird Gang, they have certainly secured a lead. Febby's gonna get a lot of extra farm, using his flat cannon, hitting every one of those units, and a lot of additional gold and experience. These stacks are gonna be really nice for Bird Gang, just helping solidify that lead that they already contain. And also, I've seen a Demon Edge picked up by Febby. Could be moving into a very fast Monkey King bar, providing a lot of just pure straight up raw DPS. And besides the Doom Zephyr, most of their heroes are relatively squishy. So, that extra DPS is going to be very useful. Allow Bird Gang to just kind of tear through Zephyr's lineup. Once that flat cannon is online, and Febby's hitting every one of those heroes. Chen's picked up the mechanism as well, giving a little bit of extra heal to his team when the time comes. And Corey, unfortunately, doesn't really have too many core items in his inventory. He's working on it, but still only the ultimate orb. As there's a bit of a lonely action. This is the Korean DOTA2 League, for those of you recently tuning in. My name is Whiplash. I am providing the on-site English commentary. And this is match 2 between Zephyr and Bird Gang. Zephyr currently lead 1-0. And in the earlier Tier 2 match, we had MVP trounce over their opposition mission statement. Aegis. Oh, what an initiation from Team Zephyr. Instant death on 2 of their heroes, forcing the Aegis off. We're gonna see one more fall as well. Momentarily. Down goes the Rubik. Looks like Purge is going to fall. But that's most likely the only death for Zephyr, and what a great trade. That was a 2-for-1 and an Aegis pop on the Gyrocopter. As long as Zephyr can continue these little pickoffs, they're gonna pull ahead, I feel. And with the Aegis pickoff, they've gotten really close to evening up this game. Darkseer working on his mechanism. Not too far away. It looks like he just needs the headdress of regeneration. But that Blink Dagger really serving Darkseer well in that last engagement. Almost happened in a blink of an eye. And so the drums is done for Blitz. Maybe he'll move into Vladimir's offering. Some aura support to his team as well as some lifesteal. Or he could just move into that Shiva's Guard. The mech's obviously going on Sexy Bambos, so we won't see a Doom holding that mech. Corey's picked up his Lincoln Sphere, so it looks like we will see some damage items coming up afterwards. And Yusin has his Ogre Club, probably going to be moving into the BKB when he has the farm. And I've noticed they're not afraid to give some farm to Yusin. Sand King is pretty farm independent, but I guess as long as you get that Blink Dagger, he's farm independent, but after that, everything else helps him out, but not as necessary. Kind of like icing on the cake. So we have the support smoked for a Zephyr. There's going to be a potential big clash in the bottom lane. The final tier 1 tower is under siege. Team Zephyr. Uh-oh. Sky caught a little bit out of position. He gets picked up. Excellent initiation once again from the combination of Bambo and Yosin. The AoE damage, it's just too much for Bird Game to handle. They lost 4 members. 1 remains. It's the Invoker MP. Oh, the arrow unfortunately misses. But a bit of a miscontrol from McCory, but really you can't argue with that last engagement. And if we see one more of those, I think it may be curtains for Bird Gang. And man, after that engagement, there's the initiation combo between Darkseer and Sand King. That's a wombo combo right there. A wombo combo. Zephyr, I don't think they can push into this tower. They may be able to chip away a little bit at it, but there's a lot of counter initiation and gank potential from Bird Gang. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see Zephyr just back off. They've already done what they wanted. I bet they want to get another good team fight like that previous one, and then they'll decide to move in and try to take out some of those tier 2 towers. But just the sheer amount of gold that they got from that fight is going to really help out that Doom, will really help out that Mirana. And Nefebi. Looks like he got the Demon's Edge, but he's working towards a Black King bar first. He's wanting to get some damage, but not a full commitment. Bird Gang just continuing to do a little bit of stacking. Roshan's been dead for a while. Wouldn't be surprised to see him popping his nose around the map over the next minute or so, maybe a few. And I guess that team fight was a BKB for Yosin, and I mean, he's 5-2-5, so it is to be expected. And Team Zephyr, they've all started to converge towards the bottom lane. They do want to take a tower. Sexy Bambo's positioning. It's looking pretty key. Look at that blink in there. nothing beyond a vacuum. And man, that EMP just so much mana lost. Removes the effectiveness of that Dark Seer tenfold. And this means that pretty much all of Bird Gang has decided to move to that bottom tower to do a little bit of defending. Zephyr, totally fine with that. They're letting their farms continue. Or I guess their cores continue to farm, not the other way around. Bird Gang still has a tier 1 tower to grab. And Zephyr, they are moving in the position to defend. This is a fight. If Zephyr's in position, if they can get the double initiation, I think they can get a wombo combo like they did before, but if they mess it up, it could still be a really good position for Bird Gang. Roshan's back on the map. You could see Bird Gang, maybe they'll smoke in there, try to stealthily take him, just after those creep camps. All right, Zephyr, they're smoked up. They're pinging on the map where the ancient farming is happening. This could be a very gruesome fight for Bird Gang if they're not entirely prepared. They're backing up a little bit. And they're still unrevealed for the time being. The creep is spotted. Midasing one of those Chen creeps. Getting that extra gold. Bird Gang knows what's up though. They're gonna go ahead and defend. Oh, can they get it? Nice lasso on Sexy Bambo. This is gonna prevent the wombo combo happening for Team Zephyr, but it may still be enough for them to chip away at the tower, but I think they just gotta go ahead, cut their losses, and back up. And indeed they do. Gyrocopter teleported home. Looks like he was a bit low on health. And he got doomed as well. Zephyr still leading 56% to 44 as far as the gold graph goes. We do have a Desolator on the way for Corey. So his damage is going to really come online with the Desolator addition. Darkseer is still dead for 7 seconds. Bird Gang, they do not have the opening to try to do a 5v4 fight at the tower. Really, both teams, they have excellent initiation. I'd say Zephyr has excellent initiation. Bird Gang has excellent initiation as well, but even more counter initiation with that Invoker, the Tornado, the ENP, the Hand of God heal, Rubik. There's a lot on the plate for Bird Gang to use to kind of deal with Zephyr's moving in. But if Zephyr can get the 2 blinks in with the Sand King, with the Darkseer, then they can, if they can get their combo off, then it's an easy victory for them. But it's a, you know, really it's just actually getting the combo that's the hard part. So the score currently 15-14. Zephyr now leading slightly over their opponent's Bird Gang. And both teams have been really trying to get that off lane, and I guess the bottom lane tower, for the past 10-15 minutes almost, it feels like. More like the last 10. It just hasn't happened on either end. Both teams really looking for proper initiation. I also want to mention Bird Gang. Insane ward coverage in the bottom area. Oh, that Tornado was really close to hitting Mirana. Corey runs out of the way just in time. And Invoker, he has his Force Staff. Looking to get a Sheep Stick to follow that up. Rubik as well. Just finishing up his Force Staff. A little bit more farming on both ends. The game has gotten a little bit more passive. I think neither team really wants to initiate, or I guess counter initiate. They just want to get in a good position, and if they can do the team fight there, they'll go for it. But the tower does provide a lot of defensive cover for both ends. Ooh. The arrow is good on MP, but not enough. And Corey is forced to use Moonlight Shadow.
다이어의 하부 포탑이
There's a
공격받고
ward
있습니다.
from Bird Gang to really show exactly where Team Zephyr's at. And just wards. Pretty much everywhere. But that's also a lot of money that Bird Gang doesn't really have in items that they're forced to spend on wards. And oh, here comes in JYU initiating on Blitz. They manage to get the grab. He's low on health. Will Blitz end up falling? Indeed he does, but amazing initiation coming in from Sexy Bamboo. Eosin looks to be a little bit shorter, but it doesn't matter. They still manage to get 3 kills. Going in for the 4th. Nice save from the Invoker. Can they manage to kick off Bebby? He's extremely low on health. Yes, he falls. Once again, Invoker, the last man remaining for Bird Gang. The advantage, the team fights, they're just going more and more towards Zephyr as time goes on. Despite a great initiation from Bird Gang, they managed to grab and drag Doom away. They killed off the Sand King. It wasn't enough. So with one tier 2 tower fallen, Roshan's on the table for Zephyr. The other tier 2 towers are available. Nice pickup for Sexy Bamboo, getting the regeneration rune, bringing him back up the full strength. If Bird Gang can push out these lanes a little bit, they could try to go in for a sneaky Roshan. It's like Rubik continuing to do a little bit more creep stacking. But Zephyr, I think that they're just waiting. They are waiting for the Roshan fight, and then they're going to move in. That's a little bit of a fake, actually, from Bird Gang. They want to kind of lure Zephyr out of the way, but if Mirana's top, I think that Zephyr maybe, they kind of know what's going on. And the split push from Corey has to be dealt with.
공격받고 있습니다. 다이어의 구조물이 강화되었습니다.
A lot of heroes converging towards the bottom river. JYU, he was looking for a pick, but he couldn't get it. And once again, it's just kind of turning into this cat and mouse game between both teams. Who's going to overextend a little bit too far to force the engagement? Corey, after getting that top tower essentially for free, is going to regroup with his teammates. And interestingly enough, Bird Gang, they're all moving back. This would be a good time, I feel, for Roshan on Zephyr's end. They may just decide to get the tier 2 tower in the mid lane regardless.
다이어의 중복 포탑이 공격받고 있습니다.
And the tier 2 tower in the middle lane just getting chipped away bit by bit down to half health. Corey seems to enjoy his job at slowly tearing these towers down bit by bit. Nice tornado. Blinks away. Splits will be fine. Looks like we're going to be seeing a BKB for Mirana this time around. In addition to the Lincoln Sphere, that's going to give her some insane survivability. Also, if you didn't notice, that is the KDL Courier. You guys can go ahead and buy the ticket if you want to watch in-game. Support Korean esports, help this scene grow. An excellent deny in that mid tower by MP. Did not see that one coming. There's the BKB for Darkseer. Swambo combo just got a lot easier to execute with both supports now having that magic immunity. Arrow hits Roshan, and Zephyr, they're starting to go to town on him. Where's the rest of Bird Gang, though? Can they get the lasso? They see, they know what's going on. It's the perfect time to get the initiation. Moonlight Shadow, the Hellbat Blitz, but the ward goes down. He's forced to activate the BKB. He'll back up. Tenbird may not be so lucky. Look at the DPS on him. He has almost fallen, and down he goes to Corey. Bebby in the mix, trying to do what damage he can, but so far, we only have one death. One in there, the arrow hits. Bevy is down. This is gonna move Zephyr straight into the Roshan pit after they finish off. JYI, down he goes. That's a 3-for-1 trade. Roshan, he's going to be next, and that's gonna give an Aegis, most likely, to Team Zephyr. And Boker doing a great job at just trying to delay Zephyr from getting this kill, but eventually it's gonna happen. Even a meteor being thrown into the pit to try to deter Zephyr from getting this kill. But it's simply not going to happen. Down Roshan goes, and on Zakora the Aegis goes. Blitz just stretching back, relaxed. I think he's feeling pretty confident at this point. I guess he is dead, so he didn't have to really move around the map. Would like to see a Shiva's Guard on him or some other survivability item to help him out in these team fights. He is a pretty high priority target from the look of things on Bird Game's end. And that Ghost Scepter is really going to help Purge stay alive, as well as the Force Staff. And he does have a Vitality booster, I think, realizing, all right, maybe I don't have enough survivability. Would be nice to potentially move into a Heart. That's what I believe we'll see next from Blitz. So Bird Game, they've really been forced into a much more defensive position that they have been in throughout a lot of the previous areas of the game. But, I mean, you have to look at the combination of Sand King ulting in, blinking in, doing a ridiculous amount of AoE damage. Same goes for the Darkseer, and, I mean, those heroes just synergize amazingly together, as we've clearly seen from this game. I'm pretty sure that's a picture of Blitz, and it is quite entertaining. And so far, after the 10-minute mark, this is what the gold graph is looking like. Zephyr, 58% to Bird Games, 42. Out goes the Tornado. This is going to potentially, remove Usun from the fight for the time being, preventing initiation. He's out of mana. Also has picked up some Boots of Speed, Boots of Travel. Really allow him to zip around the map when he needs to. And picking up another item. Veil of Discord. And with the magic damage that Zephyr is outputting, I guess it kind of makes sense. And it is a bit of a luxury item for Sand King. Maybe I would have preferred to see an Agnum Scepter on him first, but he's the pro player, so I'll trust in his judgment. Oh, nice. Once again, moving forward with the initiation, but out comes Zephyr as well at the same time. Forward they move, already a death on the Chen. Who's going to be next? It's a little bit unclear, and I believe we just saw the Wall of Replica get stolen by Tenbird. So nice counter initiation coming from Bird Gang. Blitz does manage to stay alive. A little bit of a real Corey low on health. He does have the Aegis. Oh, there we go, nice stun and a Vortex as well. That's gonna get a kill on multiple members of Bird Gang, forcing a buyback on the Gyrocopter. All he can do is send a lone rocket at Blitz. Fortification, what fortification? Doesn't even matter. The racks are going to fall, and this is looking like Zephyr's game more and more. With the top racks falling, and with the team fights consistently going towards Zephyr's way. Not sure what Bird King can really do. They weren't even able to save the ranged barracks. And Zephyr gets out, not unscathed, but certainly alive. Looks like Eosin wants to just go ahead and push the bottom lane ever so slightly. And I believe the Aegis wasn't even used on Corey. Yep, he still has that Aegis. And he also has a Mantle Style. In addition to his already packed items. Oh, Eosin actually getting pushed onto the high lane. High ground. And kind of uses a BKB there just to make sure he's safe from any other spells from that Invoker. And he's A-okay for the time being. Okay, so not a heart pickup. A Rod of Atos pickup from Doom. I'm not sure if this is just because they're already so far ahead of the opposition and it doesn't really matter what they get. But in theory, a great item for Doom. The slow will pretty much make sure no one escapes from him ever, especially with his high movement speed while in Scorched Earth. So Team Zephyr, they've already gotten the top pair of barracks. They'd like to move on to the middle and bottom ones if possible. The defense from Birdgain, still something to be worried about, but not impossible to overcome, as Zephyr showed over the past 2 team fights. It's all about getting that wombo combo. Once they get that, the team fight is practically theirs. But they pretty much have to sacrifice Blitz getting lassoed in. No EMP follow-up, but the tornado is annoying. And Corey, he does have the double damage. That tower already down to half health. And Febby circling around. There's a Helm of the Dominator now to his name, so a little bit of lifesteal and a good amount of damage with the BKB survivability. This tower lower and lower, down it goes. I think this may be Zephyr's Q, the move in, and in comes the blinks. Oh, but Blitz, he's caught a little bit out of position. Eosin gonna go ahead and use his wall of replica follow-up, and that's 2 heroes down instantly for Birdgain. I just can't see anything whatsoever. The Birdgain can do to survive this onslaught. The bottom racks are going to fall. There's no fortification, and with this dying, it's just, I think this is pretty much it. With MP falling, down to the last few members, forcing a buyback on the Invoker, doing what they can. Corey, he's low, he ends up falling, the Aegis has expired. Instant buyback from Corey. Tomb's gonna die as well. We could even see a buyback from him potentially. He has that buyback hold available, but for the price of 2 towers and many deaths on Birdgain's end, that was more than worth it for Team Zephyr to lose a few characters. And Desperation Rapier from Febby. This is what happens when you're pretty much out of it and you want one last ditch attempt. Birdgain, they do have all of their members available. Ooh, that arrow could have been very dangerous. But Birdgain, they have everybody alive. They have the Rapier on the Gyrocopter. This is it. It's pretty much now or never. They need to move in, maybe get a pick-off or something if they can get the Aegis. That'd be amazing as well, but Roshan's still not going to be back for a few more minutes minimum. That's the power of Rapier. Well, Zephyr, their heroes are pretty much back. And they're going to be fighting at full strength. I'm not sure if a Rapier can even save Team Birdgain from the onslaught that's eventually going to head their way. The question is, does Zephyr even know about the Divine Rapier? Because that's certainly an item that changes things a lot. They're not going to be expecting that much DPS output from the Gyrocopter. Roshan's right around the corner. He'll be back soon. So as long as... well, Birdgain, hold that thought. There's smoke. They're moving towards the middle. If they get a pickoff, that could be what they need to change around this game, but counter initiation. In comes Zephyr. Can they get 10? He's extremely low. Down he goes. Corey activated his BKB. They're trying to do some damage to Febby, but man, oh, it's not up to the Aegis. The Aegis, it's stolen. Corey, I believe he has the Aegis. That's it, he has the Aegis. There's no way that Birdgain comes back from this. They're down 4 members. The GG is called. Zephyr, they managed the 2-0 Birdgain. Convincing victory. And that's going to be it for the KDL matches. Zephyr with an amazing performance on both games, showing amazing form. A little bit of cockiness coming into that second match, especially after how bad they beat Birdgain in game number 1.